live from Channels Television. Reporting tonight.
Hello and welcome tonight. APC presidential candidate announces Professor Yemi Osinbajo as his running mate for the 2015 presidential elections. Group presents President Jonathan's scorecard in Lagos, says he remains the best man for the job. Finance Minister Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala presents budget to the National Assembly, Nigeria to spend 4.3 trillion naira in 2015. And United States and Cuba seek to normalize diplomatic ties, marking the historic shift in the hostile relations between the two countries.
On business news, recurrent expenditure gobs lion's share of 2015 budget as Nigeria oil price benchmark of $65 per barrel.
And the sports news, Nigeria Football Federation, the NFF confirms friendlies for the Super Eagles against Cote d'Ivoire and Mali.
The long wait is over and the vice presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress and running mate to General Muhammadu Buhari has finally emerged. After a series of lengthy meetings and consultations, Professor Yemi Osinbajo was pronounced the vice presidential candidate of the party. He was chosen from an array of other qualified partymen, including serving and former governors. Both men agreed to work together to improve the Nigerian situation if elected.
In my acceptance speech, I pledge to run an efficient government, fight corruption and indiscipline in our national life. I promise to end the current regime of fear and uncertainty in our country and place priority on national security. I also pledge to rebuild our battered economy and reduce poverty by deliberate policies to create jobs. The challenging process of rescuing our country and changing Nigeria for good has commenced. One of the first decisions that I have to make is the choice of vice presidential candidate and my running mate. The method employed in this choice was quite meticulous, but yet rigorous. It involved the establishment of objective criteria, broad consultations with party leaders and a few opinion leaders outside the party, and interactions with a number of nominees. To assist me in this great task of securing Nigeria's future, I have chosen a man of impeachable integrity, an excellent professional, a man of faith, a devoted family man, and a role model to our fellow countrymen and women. He is Professor of Law and a senior advocate of Nigeria, an alumnus of the University of Lagos and the London School of Economics. He is a prodigious author who has to his credit several books on civil procedure in Nigerian superior courts. The vice presidential candidate is a friend of the less privileged, compassionate, and zealous in service, a man of uncommon humility, a loyal, dependable, and selfless patriot. Ladies and gentlemen, I present Professor Yemi Osinbajo, who by the grace of God and the vote of Nigerians will be the next Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Our presidential candidate, General Muhammadu Buhari, great leaders of our party, and distinguished members of the National Working Committee of the party, distinguished guests here present, ladies and gentlemen. I'm deeply honored and grateful to God and to our great party, and especially to General Buhari, our presidential candidate, for nominating me as the vice presidential candidate for our great party. I accept the nomination gladly and happily, and I'm honored to work with General Buhari, who everyone knows, even his detractors know, that he is an upright, honest man who is fiercely committed to good governance. And I believe that it will be a special privilege to work with him. General Buhari and I have had several discussions, and some of them going into several hours. And I think that we have in him the right person to lead our country to the great future that it has been deprived of for so many years. I believe that the next few years, and God helping us, we will win in February. And in the next few years, this country will be restored to its pride of place, and this country will be truly great again. I thank you all very much.
Vice presidential candidate of the APC, Professor Yemi Osinbajo. Meanwhile, the People's Democratic Party seems not to be pleased with the emergence of a vice presidential candidate of the APC. Shortly after the announcement, the PDP spokesperson, Olusametu, described the selection process as an indication of incompetence on the APC's part. According to the PDP National Publicity Secretary, the time it took for a running mate to emerge clearly shows that General Buhari has little say in the APC's key policy decisions.
We believe is a show of incompetence on the part of the APC, on the part of their presidential candidate, that a whole 6 days after conducting their nomination and after he has emerged as a candidate, he's been engrossed or embroidered in controversy of production of or producing his his vice presidential candidate. That does not really show capacity, competence, and ability to deliver on the job. And it is not a one-off. It's a track record that we have noticed. It is something that we have noticed when he was president, when he was head of state. His second in command was the person that was actually in charge of the programs of his government. And then we are worried about the dominance of the interest of one man, from Bodilon, the man that lives in Bodilon, Tinubu. His dominance in the affairs of the APC, selecting the deputy governor, influencing presidential candidate, doesn't mean that the political and economic policies of the opposition is run by one man.
Away from politics now, 54 soldiers standing trial before a general court-martial have been sentenced to death by firing squad, while 5 others were discharged and acquitted. The soldiers were accused of mutiny, assault, cowardice, and refusing to fight members of Boko Haram in the northeastern part of the country. Now, their trial commenced 2 weeks after 12 soldiers were sentenced to death by firing squad for mutiny and attempted murder of their commanding officer in Maiduguri, Borno State. Their conviction brings to 66 the total number of soldiers sentenced to death by firing squad as part of disciplinary action by the Nigerian Army. Their sentence is, however, subject to confirmation by the appropriate superior authorities. Well, the federal government appears confident about its counter-terrorism strategies, saying that it's definitely collapsing Boko Haram's networks while also keeping its eyes on the fifth columnists in the country. The assurance came after a breakfast meeting hosted by President Goodluck Jonathan with the Chief of Defense Staff, Alex Bade, and the service chiefs in attendance. Air Chief Marshal Bade told journalists at the end of the meeting that life is gradually coming back to normal in the areas attacked by insurgents.
told the president exactly where we are and our future plans. But as you know, we can't talk about our future plans because that will be now telling the enemy what we are doing. I think we'll just leave it at that.
Yes, the SSS arrested some group of people who they said they were the fake negotiators. We know that once you told us that the government, there was a truce, between government and the Boko Haram people. And this turned out to be fake negotiators. So what's your comment on this?
Well, it's better not to discuss those things. SSS is on it. They are doing their own investigations, and when they finish, they started with the briefing yesterday. They have told you exactly what they are doing. I think we better just leave SSS to handle that one, and they will tell the nation exactly what's happening.
Can we really say we are winning this war, sir?
We are certainly not losing it. We are winning the war. Don't worry. Nigeria is in their military. The nation will win this war.
That is returning to Mubi now. Where do you take off from here? I mean, the way people are coming back, the EMIA, everybody is returning to it. Where are you taking off from there?
Well, they have gone back. Life is back to normal in Mubi. Life is back to normal everywhere around that place. And we are liberating more and more communities, and people are moving in. Life is running back to normal gradually.
2015 elections.
It will hold. It will hold. Don't worry.
It will hold.
It will hold.
In part 2, after the break, we look at the highlights of the 2015 budget and the views of an economist, Mr. Bismarck Rwani. That's all coming up in a moment. Please stay with us.